Thanks for being here at the movie showing that the Spanish Club is doing this month. We're in the month of October, so we're going to be watching a movie which is called The Baby's Room, or in Spanish, La Habitación del Niño. And this really is the perfect Spanish language film to watch as days grow shorter and Halloween draws near. It's a made-for-TV, psychological, supernatural thriller with some elements that were taken also from the horror genre. I don't know if you like psychological, supernatural thrillers or not, but this is what this one is going to be. And this is one in a series of 6 movies that were made to be broadcast on TV in the mid-2000s in Spain under this generic title of 6 films to keep you awake, or in Spanish, películas para no dormir. And the idea was based on a very popular TV show in Spain back in the 1960s entitled Stories, not movies, but stories to keep you awake, or historias para no dormir, the first 2 seasons of which aired between 1966 and 1968. And they were created and they were directed by the very famous scriptwriter, TV personality, and filmmaker Narciso Ibáñez Serrador. Now, the original series in the 1960s became extremely popular in the late 60s because it was seen, the show, as being very innovative on Spanish TV, because horror shows at the time in the late 60s in Spain were just not usually broadcast, or at least not very much. There was theater on TV, but not a lot of horror or suspense shows, and so audiences loved these stories to keep you awake. My own father talks about him being very scared at night watching these shows on black and white TV, to such an extent, that the show would be revived in the 1980s. And then we fast forward to 2005, and this is what we get. These 6 movies to keep you awake. The same producer, the same director that had done the show in the 1960s, Narciso Ibáñez Serrador, he decided it was time to revamp the idea, and this time there was a series of 6 movies to keep you awake that were directed by 6 different filmmakers. And some of these filmmakers were established filmmakers at the time, and some of them were up and coming, and one of them was Narciso Ibáñez Serrador himself. These 6 movies were intended to be broadcast on TV, and some were actually broadcast on TV back in the mid-1960s, but some of them were simply issued directly on DVD without actually being aired on Spanish TV at the time. So you can find them on DVD, now even in the US, with English subtitles, as you can see here. And that's what we're going to watch today. We're going to watch one of them, which is called The Baby's Room. This one was directed by Álex de la Iglesia. And Álex de la Iglesia is a very famous director from the Basque country in the north of Spain, really close to France. And Álex de la Iglesia is one of the most successful filmmakers in Spain in the last 30 years or so. And he made, critically acclaimed films such as Acción Mutante, Mutant Action, in 1993. El Día de la Bestia, The Day of the Beast, in 95. That was probably his most famous movie. Perdita Durango, back in 97, or La Comunidad, The Community, in 2000. And he earned several awards along the way. Not necessarily for this film, but for others that he made and that you can actually find, I'm sure, on streaming platforms. His films are usually very flashy, very attractive visually, sometimes a little violent, not the case with this one, because here he's a little bit more subdued. He is directing something for television. The movie, The Baby's Room, stars several well-known Spanish actors: Javier Gutiérrez, Leonor Watling, María Esquerino, Antonio de Chent. These are important actors, famous actors in Spain. And the plot, you will see, if you're familiar with supernatural thrillers and psychological thrillers, horror movies, it follows certain typical devices of this thriller genre. There's a new family with a small baby moving into an old house. They want to start a new life, but that life somehow is thwarted by certain things that start happening in the house. So, I'm not going to tell you anymore. You'll watch in just a second. But that's what the premise of the movie is. And I will leave you just with a few things to pay attention to as you watch this film. For example, the setting of the old house. Think about how it is decorated, the colors, what it looks like, how is it filmed, the lighting that the filmmaker uses, because he's doing this on purpose in some cases, to let you see certain things, not let you see some others, that kind of thing. So the setting is important. I think the relationship between the characters is something else to look at. How is their relationship, their family, moving into this new house, affected by this setting of the old house and the things that start to happen? But very importantly, as you watch the movie, think about the clash between reality on the one hand and fiction on the other hand. What is real and what is maybe not as real? What is actually happening? What may be in the characters' minds? That's important as well, because we're going to be looking at some of the things that happen in the movie, some of the events in the plot from the point of view of the characters, and we'll see how those points of view differ. And then finally, think also about what typical elements that you already know from having watched, American psychological thrillers or supernatural thrillers or horror movies. What typical elements from those movies that you already know actually appear in this film? Which ones do you recognize? And most of all, is there any moment when these elements are treated with any amount of humor? Because the idea of humor is also important in the filmography of Álex de la Iglesia. So think about that, think about what you recognize, but most of all, just enjoy the film, because it really, in my opinion, is a good film. And I would say it's possibly the best one out of the 6 movies to keep you awake. If you like it, maybe the Spanish Club will show more next year as Halloween gets closer. So enjoy the food that Carly has gotten ready for you. Some popcorn here, some chocolate chip cookies, which are always good to have. And enjoy the Spanish Club's showing of one of these 6 films to keep you awake. Álex de la Iglesia's The Baby's Room, La habitación del niño. Gracias.